SEO this week, everyone. Welcome, and we're gonna go heavy into some articles from Dejan, and then a whole bunch of randomness this week. There's no specific theme, and we got 3 cool questions for the Q&A section. Also, all that and more on SEO this week.
Did you know a press release alone isn't enough? Visibility is key. You need a multi-platform strategy to share your story across news, audio, video, and social media. Welcome to Magic PR, where your press release transforms into a powerful media experience, maximizing exposure and engagement. We distribute your release to top outlets like Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg, Business Insider, and more. Plus, your release is SEO optimized, ensuring better search rankings. But we don't stop there. We turn your press release into a podcast, distributing it across 25 platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Then, we create a social media content for Facebook, X, and Instagram, and even transform your story into a video press release for YouTube and top media sites. Video drives over 80% of higher engagement, and short-form content is king. We make viral videos for your YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and more. At Magic PR, we don't just publish, we amplify. Get your press release seen, heard, and shared everywhere. Visit magicpr.com today and take your brand to the next level. Back to you, Clint.
All right, let's do number 1. Black Forest Labs is an AI released the AI model. These guys, if you don't know, they're the folks that released Flux, and you can access Flux using tools like Leonardo, etc., or you can go directly to getting an API key and stuff and accessing it yourself. You can use like a Comfy UI, I believe, will let you access Flux as well. Well, what they're doing now is you can give it an image and then you can ask it to edit the image or change the image or make new images. I don't think it's new. I'm pretty sure there's other models that do that already, but supposedly they've gotten this a lot better. So if you are using AI for images, then go check out Flux. Flux One Context, which seems pretty, I don't know, depending on the uses and stuff, it would be pretty cool. I would think, like, for example, if you want to do caricatures like this using your own images or images of your friends or whatever, you can create consistent characters in theory with a little less work than what you used to have to do it in. That could be a use case. So go check that out. 0 clicks does not mean 0 sales. This by Rand Fishkin over at SparkToro. Essentially, the Reader's Digest version is that, yes, there is less traffic, but that does not mean that you need to stop doing the things that we were normally doing as part of our search engine optimization campaigns, i.e. content generation, imagery, visualizations, etc., because those all feed the AI. And if you are not providing the AI answers, then how can they ever possibly show you as a source? And that's the short version of this video. And essentially, this post is the transcript. And again, trust me, the video is a lot faster to review. But at the end of the day, that's what you get. And I think it's true because, yeah, information marketing or information content marketers are going to feel the pinch more and more with AI overviews. I think AI mode is actually good for information marketers because it provides more sources and more information and more opportunity for the click. I prefer AI mode over AI overviews every day of the week. But still, you are not going to be listed in those things if you don't show up. You don't produce content. You don't maintain your website. You don't maintain your SEO program, etc. So if you're falling for it, like everyone else, or a lot of people who AI is going to kill your SEO, AI is killing that stuff, and you're going to cancel your SEO program because of those tall tales, let's just call it for what it is, bullshit, then you are going to pay the price eventually. So keep up with your SEO stuff. You need it. Accessibility advantage, Whiteboard Friday. This kind of, I went on an accessibility thing, I want to say almost 2 years ago now. I was doing it when I was in working with a rehab, and the rehab was sued. They happened to be a California-based rehab, where in California and New York are really highly targeted states for these types of lawsuits. And I went into the accessibility rabbit hole pretty quickly, just kind of figure out, how do we prevent this from happening for all of our clients? Because that client ended up just, paying the money so that make these extortionist people go away and avoiding all the drama. So what you end up figuring out is a lot of this accessibility stuff, things to fix, alt text linking, multimedia and design does apply a lot to SEO. Actually, if you do it right, you're going to increase your SEO and you're going to increase your accessibility at the same time. Obviously, you're not going to get like 100%. And there's a whole bunch of requirements and stuff with the ADA, etc. You're never going to be 100%. It's just kind of the way it works. But you do want to get so that you're at least meeting most of the requirements and that you can be okay. So I would check out this post, get a little bit of idea of it. You can click on the AA compliance thing and get some more information here as a follow-on post, or you can go directly to the WCAG website, and there's a plugin too that I believe they support. You can add for your browsers and kind of figure this out. And it's, again, if you do get accessibility, you're going to at the same time take care of a lot of your SEO stuff. So it's a twofer. Almost customers a local SEO gold. This is actually really cool. So if you get local SEO leads and you're on these calls and you're handing out your proposals, which I recommend that you don't do, because there's so much work to do a proper proposal, right? Or a good one. Like, if you're going to just send out a generic one, then do proposals all day long. I go for it. But if you're going to do a good one where you're actually identifying some problems and stuff and say, hey, this is what we're going to fix, because typically proposals actually customers hold you to those. I mean, how dare they? Right? So if you do a good one, then you end up spending at least 3 to 5 hours. And if you're making $125 an hour, for example, that's a lot of money. You're blowing away for the 10 or 15 that you put out a week. There's a lot of money you lost. So you could leverage that work a little bit. One thing that I was doing a lot, I haven't done it so much, is every time I was doing a proposal, I do a proposal video to go along with it. And if the client didn't accept, I took the proposal video, and put it up on my website. There you go. There's an example of an audit. Those are actually good case study things, and how you can build case studies for you if you haven't gotten started yet. If you don't have customers, or you don't have the ability to show off your work because of NDAs or whatever, right? You can do those as case studies and say, hey, this is what we would do to fix it. This is how much it would cost, blah, blah, blah. And that's part of it. You do that for your proposals. You send it out. They don't use it. You repurpose it and turn it into content, and you rank it, and you use it on your site as a case in your case study section. You can also use this form. They gave us a great example. There's my account, my email account. I'm more spam now. I'll blur that out. I'll blur that out. Anyway, you use this form, and you can, I think it's a really good form, honestly, and get some feedback and say, hey, why didn't you pick me, etc. I mean, you took the time to talk to them. At least I could do is fill out this little feedback form, right? It doesn't look like it's even going to take you 5 minutes to fill it out. So it would be interesting to see that implemented. I think I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to use a Google form. I'll use the forms on my website, and then send it back to the website and fill it out on my form. Might as well get some website traffic out of it and some referrals. Excuse me. Jeez. There we go. It was. All right. Next. Almost half of Google's searches are branded, and here's why that matters. So, partial match, exact match, branded, and then keyword, branded, and multiple keywords, branded, and n-gram strings. And so this number makes sense. However, it's based off of their data, and that to me, I'm like, where does it? Like, is it true that those are actually, do those numbers match what Google has or what Google's saying? I can't see any or could not find any cited sources that agree with that. But, however, if you're going like Nike shoes, Nike, that's 2 words. Nike is the brand, and then shoes, Nike glasses, Nike clothing, Nike t-shirts, Nike shorts, Nike running, jogging shorts, those jogging pants, that kind of stuff. That all makes sense, like product-based search. So if you are in the what it is, what's it about, and what's in it for me market, or what's Merlino say? Who am I, where am I, and what do I do, or something like that effect, you get an understanding of why brand has always been important for search engine optimization and marketing. I mean, always. It's not something new. You get all these people that are talking now, oh, with AI, brand is even more important than it ever was, or branding's now important, as if it's some new and exciting concept for them. And frankly, for the white hats, I think this is probably the best thing, because instead of relying on changing link building from link building to article marketing to guest posting to outreach to digital PR, now they can go back to the marketing fundamentals and say, hey, we need to rank your brand. And ranking your brand for branded search queries is actually a lot easier than anything else, and it requires less links, it requires less thought, it requires less skill. So ergo, you need you can get a white hat SEO and pull that kind of campaign off. Look at this. Think about some branded queries that you can do with your market. And, like digitalear.com is digital ear SEO, digital ear web design, digital ear PPC management, digital ear schema, digital ear web page schema, from the informational side of it, or Amazon bicycles, Amazon bicycles BMX, Amazon bicycle Schwinn, that kind of stuff. Look at yours and figure out a whole bunch of branded queries that you could possibly leverage. And when you're doing anchor text for your pages, think about the branded queries that can go along with that as well. So you're not just relying on generics or whatever you're using for your anchor text. You can mix it up a little bit. AI into the Chrome DevTools. There's a lot of cool scripts, etc., out there that help you leverage the Chrome DevTools. One of them that I used to like using a lot is highlighting bold. You can actually go to search results and then use DevTools or DevTools and this script, and it'll pull all the bold keywords variations out of there for you, and save yourself from running like a Coro or a Page Optimizer Pro or whatever to get that list. So this is kind of in line with those lines, and all the instructions are right here. You add your keys, you add your code just where it tells you to do it, and you have now a custom tool inside of your console in your dev tools that you can play around with and leverage. And if you are like me, you're thinking, oh, those are cool. Now, what other tools can I make inside of dev tools things that I do all the time and I'm paying for? Like, ultimately, my goal is to eliminate the need for Ahrefs and SEMrush. And I can have some little tools on the side. I'm almost there with my Python stuff. So being able to do that with JavaScript inside of DevTools would be a icing on the cake, I would think. Ideal month to launch your website. I don't know. This is kind of like a little bit of guru magic. Really, at the end of the day, you look at this table that they want you to fill out, and populate. And I think ultimately what it's going to say is the month with the most traffic and the most revenue, and then set it back a couple months so you do it beforehand. But I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that does. I didn't bother to fill all this out, but you could probably play with it. I imagine we could do it. Let's go 1,000. Yeah, this will take forever. You get loaded all in here. Get a CSV and load it in and play with it and see what you get. It's an interesting tool. Is it something that you want to just go, hey, that's going to happen all the time? Probably not. But I would be interested to understand what they're going to do with the rest of this data as they collect it. I mean, they'd be dumb if they're not collecting it and they're getting year-month revenues. The only downside is there's no identifying niche data, which significantly impacts your selection of your months. Like if you're running a Halloween costumes website, like when should you launch it? And I would argue like May. You launch it, you start ranking it and get some exposure, and then Google, you get the money. The November Black Friday stuff comes out when you're holding your sales post Halloween, and it changes the algorithm and gives all your traffic to Amazon and Walmart and Target and etc. And then when they fix the algorithm in the end of December, right after the Christmas buying season, and then you can recover all of that hard work you lost in the November update that is annual and has nothing to do with Black Friday. Nothing to see here, folks, but it'll be there. The old Google Search Console has a gap. So what does Moz, I think that's Moz, what he did was he kept going back to his Search Console, and he would do searches and then see if that query showed up, and it never showed up in his Search Console. And there, ergo, Search Console is not correct. So that is one theory that you can take. The other is that Google is smart enough to know that the same IP is checking and reading this search thing and clicking on the website, and it's not registering it in Search Console. The other thing is that maybe, Search Console isn't as good at data. Like this is a really long string. So is it going to give it to you? Is the comma messing anything up? That would be interesting to know. Those kind of things, like we would never really know, but he did a couple experiments. And I think really at the end of the day, what this highlights is that a lot of SEOs think that this is the end all be all search optimization information, and it's the best that you're ever going to have, and you can't do any better. And that's 100% wrong. So Search Console, like all tools, has flaws. There are gaps, and you're not going to get 100% insight into what is going on with the association of your website to the Google search results in particular. So, and what keywords are showing, or et cetera. So just, that's the price you pay for having a free tool like that. And Google's never going to improve that data anymore because there's no way to monetize that system short of making people pay for Search Console, like shutting off the free version and saying, hey, everyone, if you want Search Console, you have to pay $10. And I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure an entire industry will tell them to get paid. There'll be people who pay it, sure, but I mean, that'd be the only way to monetize that and improve. And if they did it, they'd have to improve the information in it and make it so that it's actually accurate. And I don't think the values, the money is that would take to do that is worth the money that any potential revenue source would come out of it. So don't expect Search Console to get any better. 9 ways to truly. Oh, sorry. One last thing. What I would have done is I would have got a whole bunch of proxies and got a CTR bot, and then tried that, and then just let it run for a while and see how long it actually takes for that to show up, if it ever showed up. If it never showed up, you know that the methodology behind the test is not conducive to the systems and the way that Search Console gets data from the indexes running the search results in the click-through reports. But because you're using a CTR bot, I would click on someone else, either make a test site or whatever. Don't do that on your money site, because I've never had really good experience with CTR stuff. Anyway, so why poke the bear in that regards? All right, 9 ways to truly differentiate content in the world. These are not new. I mean, these kind of posts are not new. The reason I wanted to show this is because here's an idea. You are writing prompts. Typically, you're probably writing content prompts, or you have staff writing content prompts, or whatever, right? You may be using AI for some form of content, writing a book, writing a blog post, whatever. In order to do that, you got to write prompts, right? So if in my case, stories around original data is a good content piece for social media, a good content piece for blogs, etc. Using your voice as a differentiator, that's okay. It's essentially you go write a whole bunch of crap and then you give it to AI. It says this is your voice, and then you add that to your prompt. Like, that's how it specifies what your voice is. Writing for specific audience, you should be doing that already. First-hand provided receipts. This is like that example of how to do case study stuff. That would be how you do that. Bake in relatable examples, get original quotes from here, and create with empathy, right? So what I would do is create a prompt that leverages this one, and this one, and then turn on your search thing and see how it goes. Or just leave it off and let the built-in data run it. I think that would create a really cool prompt. So I'm going to try that out with my own prompt that I've got. Prompt builder essentially is what I got from StunsBot. And I'll make a prompt and see how to leverage, if I can take what I have and make it better by adding some of the elements that this article does. And that process isn't to go, ooh, look at how impressive I can be. That process is to give you some ideas. When people are writing this content, you can say, I just want to take these pieces of this entire article and go, oh, that's a good idea. That makes sense to build a story around original data, create some empathy, bake in relatable examples, and provide original quotes. Those all make sense. And if you're thinking about it, those would probably make a really good article, right? So when you're consuming content, as much content as I am, I can't by any means leverage 100% of what I'm reading or watching or whatever, right? Or consuming at a conference, or there's just no effing way that's going to happen. So, but you can do what I just did and take little pieces out of a whole bunch of these posts, put it all together and go, all right, here's the elements that I want to do for content. Now let's turn it into a post and then see how close my article gets. Does it get me that much closer to where I get to the editing phase and I'm doing less than I was doing before? Makes sense? Especially when you got features like search and deep research and Manus and Gemini and DeepSeek. Those guys are all able to pull in sources now and cite those sources. So if you can leverage a good prompt and work with those cited sources systems, it'll be badass. That combination would be badass, in my opinion. So there you go. There's an idea for me. Let me know how it works out. All right, let's get on our Dejan Love Fest. I got 3 articles from Dan this week in his AI mode select snippets. And then down here, we get to the end of it. snippet format, content selection priorities, structural influences, and selection algorithm insight. So you take all that information and you give it to your prompt engineering prompt, and you say, I want a prompt when I create content. This is, create a piece of content around AI mode being released in Google, right? And here's the technical aspects of it and the content themes and the possible algorithmic criteria, and give it to your prompt engineering tool and see if they can kick it out and do create some wonderful things. Now, is there any can we say factually that's how it works? No, but observation. These guys have a lot of time doing observation, and they can see this stuff and make some assumptions or try to come up with some conclusions or theories as to how something works, because we don't have the code, right? We don't know the true algorithm. But we can look at it and go, hey, these are the patterns I see, and he's given us a pretty good write up in order to take all this stuff and put it into a prompt engineering tool and test it. So there's another example. So you got two now. So 1, 2. What is geo? This is funny. So if you remember when AI came out and all these acronyms showed up, AIO, AEO, LLMO, geo, blah, blah, blah. And everyone was like, SEO is dead and geo is the thing. Well, it was all based on this article that was cited inside of Wikipedia that was supposedly written by some Chinese people, but was actually, it turns out, written by some Indian people, and it has actually nothing to do with generative engine optimization as we know it turned into be. So if you want a good laugh and you go, that's funny, and how our industry just invents shit out of thin air, here's a good example of it. Changed the author names, threw up a Wikipedia page, added a whole bunch of ads and all kinds of other stuff to the Wikipedia page. And finally, now that page is gone. So geo is dead, hopefully. And then hallucinations from clicks, 2 clicks. So essentially, you look at your log file and you can see if how many the 404s you have, and then redirecting your 404s to like pages. And the idea is that if the referrer is AI, that if AI is hallucinating and inventing these things, then maybe you can leverage that and get some more traffic out of AI. That's a theory. So why not try it out? He said he made a tool. Yeah, here it is, the keyword extraction tool, and you can follow the instructions and see if it helps you or not. But I mean, the idea sounds legit. You do 301s and you change, or you buy a brand new domain and you 301 like articles to like articles, or you watch 404s from your old domain to your new domain and you redirect as you go along that way. So why not do it with AI if they're making up URLs? I mean, it's sound. Why not try it out? What's it gonna hurt? Alrighty, so that's the stories, quick, easy, and painless. With that, let's move on to the questions. All right. Anyone here think hosting or IP plays a big role in SEO? So this question is actually kind of weirdly asked, because what he's actually talking about is you as the user using, like his example, Dubai website. He used Dubai remote desktop, kept all the cookies isolated, probably using something like Ghost Browser or Chameleon or any of those other tools to keep the accounts separate. And he's making money, so ergo this person's asking this question thinks that, hey, is that actually working? I can't say that I've seen anyone that had provided significant proof that doing that in and of itself was the difference between making zero money and making $8,000. Never seen anyone do that. There's arguments to be made that if you're manipulating things, using fake accounts, et cetera, and you want to reduce the risk of those accounts being found out, that you would do that. You'd isolate your individual accounts, social media, maps, Google, et cetera. And so, but I would be highly suspicious to find anyone, if anyone said, hey, because you did those things that you, ergo, you were making more money. I don't think that's the case. Interesting theory for sure. Personally, I think it's just an ass ton of work. I use Ghost because I can keep all my identities, the different Google accounts. I can log into them, and it reduces the times I gotta do the text verification or email verification or whatever. But I mean, they're all on the same phone number, and they're all just use the same recovery email address, and they're all doing just fine. Like I've had them for years. So that's just how I do it, but it doesn't play a big role. I would venture to say it doesn't play any role in SEO. The Google indexing system. So just a follow-up, my favorite web linker guy, whatever the hell that dude, I can't remember his name, but he's no longer a moderator at Big SEO, but I still can't. I'm still ghosted. So if any of you guys know a moderator that can get me out of ghost hell, I would appreciate it. I think I know Paul Shapiro, but I don't know if I know him well enough to go, hey, can you help me out? Maybe I'll just reach out and see what happens. Anyway, this one is another indexing question, and it's really in regards to the Search Console, and the crawled but not indexed is typically where these all land up, be my guess, or discovered not indexed. But essentially, he had a website, he had 140 URLs that were in there, it was showing indexed, and then it dropped to 3, went up to 60 and dropped to 3 again. And that's actually a pretty normal pattern that I've seen in regards to testing brand new websites, right? So we give you all the credit, we see it, you're not getting any links, you're not getting any traffic, your internal linking sucks, we're gonna start dropping your pages out. Then that's a pretty standard pattern. So how do you correct that? 1, make sure your internal links are set up. 2, make sure you have external links. And then 3, make sure the Search Console is not actually lying to you, which in those cases, a lot of times it's not nearly as bad as it might be. If you go from 140 to 3, you definitely got a problem. Search Console is probably lying to you, but it's not lying to you 140 to 3 lying to you. But those are the 3 things that I would check if you see those issues. And typically, the internal links and the external links, and you get everything recrawled, will get everything re-indexed. So give that a shot. This was an interesting one. Client has 600 to 700 internal links on nearly all the pages, and the way he's saying, hey, 70 to 150 is normal. I think 70 to 150 is absolutely normal. Almost 200 is probably normal, depending on how image heavy and depending on how your crawlers are looking at internal URLs, i.e. your logo and the PNGs that are doing all your graphics and et cetera, et cetera. Those may fire off some URLs for the source, and ergo you get that number gets really big. But 680, that's crazy. So my guess is, because we can't see this site, is that what is happening based off of the description that this guy's made, that his dev team is not like the best, and they just essentially hacked an old website to make it kind of look newer, and didn't really do any changing of CMS or changing of builder or changing a theme. They just took what they had and plugged some new crap into it and said, ta-da! My guess is that the mobile responsiveness. You know, you have different sizes of images. So that one image could be now 10 and you have 100 of them. So now you have 1,000 internal links. I think that's probably what's going on right there. Again, I don't see the website, and so I don't know for sure, but to me, that's what that sounds like. They just screwed up in their responsiveness setup, and then they have these different versions for the different sizes of the screen, and the code's referencing all those versions, and now that's because it's a hack to get a theme site. It's really just bad dev work. If you're seeing that, yeah, 600 to 700, that is not normal at all. All right, so I gave you a tool, Dejan's thing, and then the when to launch your website thing. I answered 3 questions. I gave you some news. It's a real easy week. And with that, I do have one thing. I'm launching another web post. It'll be a web page schema. I'm going to probably launch that today. I haven't published on it yet, but I do have it on my to-do list to publish that today. I want to do the audio and the video and then do the schema for that particular post. And then the video will go live on Wednesday. But by the time you see it, the post will be live for today, maybe in theory, depending. It's 2:30, so I got time to knock it out. But I still got to do all the images and all that stuff for this episode. So we'll see. But that'll be the template for web page schema, which is the good one. So, but if you want to see it now, go to digitalear.com, go look at the website schema in a validator. As a matter of fact, I'll just show you. Do this. Go here, digitalear.com, blog, website, and then check your validator, and then you'll see the schema markup for this post. And it's right here. The reason these are separate, I'll explain later, but here's web page schema, etc. And the whole template you're going to get in the web page schema post, you'll get to see it live and in action here on this particular page. Okay. So do that. And then I have a couple requests for, actually, I think just 2 breadcrumb schema requests. So what I'll do is add those to the post, and then I'll do a YouTube post. And if you're subscribed to the channel, you'll get a notification when the breadcrumb schema post, this one here, gets updated with a couple more examples, some real-time things. So there's someone who asked me, like, do one for this website. I'm not doing all of it. I'm going to do an example in just one section and say, here's kind of how I would go about knocking it out. If you want to know how to do or learn how to do the entire thing, the template probably not going to be helpful for you, but you can sign up on What Ranks to my schema course. I think it's 2 years old and it's still valid. It's like, not because it's just because it's all about how to read schema.org. It's all about how to read this website and write your own schema and be really good at it and tell a story about what your page is about. And that's what my course is about. It's not here's my 500 templates and you know, these are the things that I did in this template. It's how for you to go, how do I tell a story in my website using schema.org and JSON LD to give myself the best chance of ranking and reducing my dependency on other SEO aspects, right? So, and it still works like gangbusters. Yeah, Fountain Hills SEO. Still there. Just saying. Still there. Yeah, it'll change eventually, I'm sure. People will get pissed off and start doing link building and all that other stuff to it, but it's still there. It's still there. and it's still blank. Just schema, folks. So hopefully you get something out of this schema stuff. If you're not encouraged to write your own schema, then if you want just one more edge that, again, it reduces your dependency on other factors, and you can get a diversity of factors going on, then why not do it? All right. So with that, see you guys next. You'll hear from me again on Wednesday. And until then, have a good week.